In the latest installment of The Walking Dead series, we follow one of the franchise's most beloved characters as he embarks on a perilous mission across the French countryside. In this video, we'll delve deep into the first episode, dissecting all the clues that underscore the significance of this journey. Stick around until the end of the video for insights from the season trailers, hinting at the series' direction. Now, let's dive in. The episode opens with Judith's voice, whom you may recall as the biological daughter of Laurie Grimes and Shane Walsh, and the adopted daughter of Michael and Rick Grimes. As we hear her voice, we witness DARYL DIXON adrift somewhere in the south of France. Judith utters the phrase, "You deserve a happy ending too," which is a callback to the series finale of The Walking Dead. Speaking of DARYL, it appears that he's far from attaining that coveted happy ending, as he finds himself stranded at sea, teetering on the edge of death. The last time we encountered DARYL was in The Walking Dead series finale, where he departs the Commonwealth to seek answers at Maggie's urging. She expresses her desire to explore the unknown. "I want to talk about the future. There's a lot out there to find out about. And I think it's time we did." By the way, if you're curious about Maggie's adventures post-The Walking Dead events, check out my video on her spin-off, Dead City, linked in the description below. Maggie and DARYL are eager to uncover many mysteries, including why the undead are evolving, how the outbreak commenced, and whether a cure is feasible. However, this still doesn't explain how DARYL ended up halfway across the globe. Fortunately, The Walking Dead's spin-off series, World Beyond, provides some hints in its post-credit scene from Season 2. In this scene, we encounter Dr. Jenna, familiar from Season 1 of The Walking Dead, communicating with an abandoned lab in France. French graffiti in the background reads, "The dead were born here." If DARYL is on a quest for answers, why not begin where the outbreak supposedly originated? Dr. Jenna also mentions variant cohorts in France, a phenomenon absent from their American labs. He seeks more information about these variants, which may hold the key to understanding the emergence of the Julian walkers. DARYL learns about these variants the hard way when he encounters walkers capable of burning the skin of those they touch. DARYL washes ashore near the port city of Marseille, discovering tape recordings and a map left behind by an Irish family documenting their escape from the zombie apocalypse. On the map, their final destination is marked as Marseille. After enduring 19 months at sea, DARYL uses his finger to trace the journey from the Gulf of Cadiz to Marseille. The ship captain he encounters at the episode's conclusion mentions losing DARYL, indicating that strong currents swept him from the Gulf to the southern coast of France. The specifics of his journey here remain shrouded in mystery, but we know there was a mutiny on a tanker ship, and DARYL managed to escape. Now, he yearns to return to America, implying that he may have already discovered what he was seeking. Perhaps he is aware that there's no cure, which could explain his sense of helplessness. Why not hold on to hope? "It's not my concern." Additionally, he mentions in his recorded message that if he doesn't make it back, he wouldn't have known he tried, strongly suggesting that his expedition was unsuccessful. This tanker ship also served as a research vessel where they conducted experiments on walker test subjects. What did DARYL witness here that drove him to mutiny and destroy years of research? After satisfying his hunger with some fish, DARYL embarks on his journey to the town of Budrex, which is known for its pork. "I must admit, I appreciate the scenic shots, including those of zombie-infested Roman aqueducts, something rarely seen in America." DARYL doesn't speak French, a deficiency that would have been handy when he encountered the warning. Graffiti outside the abandoned market where he was attacked. The graffiti reads, "Attention, Affemins, ICI," which translates to, "Warning, hungry ones inside." Isabel, a nun who will later assist DARYL on his journey, refers to these hungry ones as zombies. However, the most remarkable revelation occurs after DARYL confronts a horde of them, the Bruden, walkers who have either evolved or were created with the ability to burn their victims. As Isabel points out, these are just one of the new variants out there, and I hope we uncover more as the series progresses. DARYL has actually covered quite a distance before encountering Isabel and Guillaume, as indicated by a road sign showing he's approximately 15 kilometers from Lord. This gives us an idea of how far he's traveled on this map. There's also a significant moment where DARYL chuckles at the translation of "Tu vous aimes" to "God loves you." DARYL lacks faith and doesn't believe in God. Nevertheless, as he teams up with Isabel and Laurent later on, expect this aspect to be a part of his character development this season. Something will reignite his belief, and I believe that someone will be Laurent. Guillaume plays the role of a blind, attempt to deceive Daryl into providing him with supplies. However, this deception is exposed when the three of them are interrupted by soldiers affiliated with the cause. Although the group's name is not explicitly mentioned in this episode, I found it in a press article, so it could potentially change. The cause is a political movement comprising soldiers and scientists. When one of the soldiers becomes too aggressive with Mabel, Daryl promptly intervenes, demonstrating Maribel's capacity for ruthlessness. This is our first clue that these two are not the helpless survivors they appear to be. Guillaume knocks Daryl unconscious, revealing that he is not truly blind or crippled. Fortunately, Isabel is nearby and guides an injured Daryl to the nearby convent, where his wounds are tended to and cauterized. This convent has been operational for 12 years and is part of an alliance of various groups and faiths known as Union du, or the Union of Hope. Don't know much about this union except that they have safe houses throughout Europe, a main base up north, and are led by a Buddhist monk named Lama Rinpoche. We'll delve deeper into the significance of this later on. Before we continue, I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy these videos and want me to cover the rest of the season, please consider liking and subscribing. Every contribution matters to support the channel. In an unusual scene, Isabel, a nun, bathes Daryl, who is unclothed, and they both reveal their scars from their tumultuous pasts. Both have experienced violence, and it becomes evident that Isabel once attempted suicide by cutting her wrists. Daryl is introduced to a room filled with medieval weapons where the nuns receive combat training, but what truly piques his interest is Father Jean's radio. It's noticeable that Isabel locks the door, concealing the fact that the promised radio doesn't function. This is because Isabel believes Daryl is the chosen messenger, destined to escort Laurent to the Union of Hope's main base in the north, where he will undergo training to become humanity's new leader. The nuns are convinced that he is the second coming of Christ, citing his unique abilities, insights, and compassion. Remarkably, Daryl had drawn a picture of a man resembling himself in the sea 3 weeks prior to his arrival. Laurent grew up in the convent after his mother died during childbirth, and Father Jean became a father figure to him, which is why Laurent continues to recite poetry to him even after Father Jean turned into a zombie. The poem he recites is Libert, or Liberty, one of France's most famous poems, written during the German occupation of France in World War II, emphasizing the importance of preserving freedom. This choice is fitting as France is now under a new kind of occupation, that of the walkers. L'Oreal stands out as an extraordinary individual, displaying exceptional intelligence, kindness, and an ability to sense Daryl's sadness. He even echoes Judith's words, saying, "But you deserve a happy ending too." Is this all mere coincidence, or could L'Oreal truly be the second coming of Christ? This is likely the central question the season aims to address. While Daryl may not have discovered a medical cure for the virus, what if the cure isn't a vaccine but a person, namely L'Oreal? L'Oreal discusses the concept of healing, asking Daryl how many generations it would take to repopulate France. Unfortunately, Guillaume's future is cut short when he is killed by a soldier named Caudron, who seeks vengeance for his brother, one of the soldiers murdered by Mabel. In an attempt to save herself, Mabel falsely implicates the American as the culprit. When Caudron sees a "God loves you" poster at the crime scene, he decides to investigate the abbey to determine if they are harboring the fugitive. Meanwhile, Daryl distances himself from the nuns, deeming them to be eccentric for believing in the second coming of Christ. They want him to take the perilous route created by Father Jean to escort Laurent northward, a task he is reluctant to undertake, especially after discovering Isabel's deceit regarding the radio. However, as Daryl makes his departure, he spots a group of approaching soldiers. His innate heroism and compassion prompt him to return and protect the nuns. During their search of the abbey, the soldiers confront Father Jean with Caudron threatening to end his suffering as a walker unless they disclose the Americans' whereabouts. However, L'Oreal intervenes, pleading for them not to harm him. Caudron orders the child to be taken to Jeanette, who we will encounter at the episode's conclusion and appears to be the leader of the cause.